So, what if you could talk to animals and they could talk back? In this episode, I sit down with Christina Duffy, an animal communicator, a medium, and a licensed therapist who's been telepathically connecting with animals since she was just 3 years old. From birds and bears to beloved pets, she shares how animals are constantly communicating and how we can learn to listen. Welcome to Dial Up Intuition, a podcast that invites you to awaken and expand your intuition. I'm your host, Kat Sanders. I was a radio and television broadcaster before a massive brain hemorrhage caused me to flatline. That life-changing event led to a beautiful near-death experience. And when I came back, I returned with some profound truths and the ability to connect with the other side. In this podcast, we'll explore these truths and learn how to strengthen your intuition and intuitive gifts. You'll hear conversations with remarkable intuitives who'll share how their gifts came alive, evolved, and became part of their daily lives. So whether you're just beginning your intuitive journey or you're ready to go deeper, this is your space to be inspired, guided, and reminded that your intuitive gift was always within you. So let's begin and dial up our intuition together. Hello, my guest today is Christina Duffy. She is an MFCC, a licensed marriage and family therapist specializing in couples therapy. Now, Christina is also a medium and an animal communicator, or some people say pet medium, and that is what we're going to talk about today. So welcome to you, Christina. I'm so glad that you are here with us.
Thank you, Kat. It's my pleasure.
Now, Christina, you had a near-death experience because of a very serious accident years ago, but that's not when you received your gifts of animal communication. So let's start by talking about when you first started communicating with animals.
I was 3 years old and I was communicating with birds and also insects at that time, but it was mostly birds. And sometimes we would have baby birds that needed help, and so we would take care of them. But soon after that, I had neighbors bringing over birds that they had for pets, and they wanted me to communicate with them or they wanted me to tame them. So that's something I did a lot of as a child.
Now, let's back up here a minute. You were communicating with insects?
Yes, so insects communicate more often with me than animals do. I know that sounds strange.
That sounds very strange. What in the world, what in the world does an insect have to say?
It's usually about survival. So sometimes they want food, sometimes they want to be held, just like regular animals. So for me, my experience with insects and telepathy is that they communicate even more strongly than animals do.
Seriously.
Seriously.
So,
hmm
a flying bug or a crawling bug, they all have something to say?
If you tune into them and you have telepathy with them, they will communicate back. My experience.
Really? And you started talking to these little critters at a very early age.
Yes, we had a garden and I was forced to work in the garden as a child. And so I did telepathy, is what I call it, with the insects.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I could get flies to land on me. Even in my home today, if there's a fly in the house, I can ask the fly if it wants to go outside. And if it wants to land on my hand, it'll land on my hand.
So I get a bunch of ants crawling around outside and I should just leave them alone?
Well, outside is their home. So if they come inside, all you have to do is have a conversation with them and tell them that they're not allowed in the house. It actually works.
Oh, okay. So next time I have an ant problem, I'm calling you. I'll tell you that. And I'll stop spraying them because now I'm going to feel really guilty about doing that. Very interesting. Okay. So now I know personally from firsthand experience that your gift is very real because we met at a conference for people who have had near death experiences, and there was a dog there. And you and I bent down almost at the same time and petted that dog. And all of a sudden, as soon as you touched the dog, I got this just incredible vision in my head of where this dog had been in its life when it was young and what it experienced. In fact, it looked like to me it was kind of on the streets of probably Mexico or some
Uh-huh.
Central America country.
hmm
and the dog was just, I could feel what the dog had been feeling. It was
Mm-hmm.
wanting to be seen. It
Mm-hmm.
was just wanting to be loved, and the people were kind of shoving it aside. And, and it was more than just begging for food, which is what you think a dog on the streets would be looking for. It was feeling this, please look at me, love me,
Mm-hmm.
can't you just see me? And it was an incredible experience for me because, as a regular medium, not the animal kind, I had never experienced anything like that before. And then you
Oh.
saw just a picture on my phone of my cat, who was good with me, but was not good with my husband. And you said right away, without, any provocation, oh yeah, it has a problem with men, and you shouldn't approach it from the side with your hand because it's been slapped. This is how you should approach it, and this is how you're going to win it over. And it completely worked. And now this cat sits by my husband every day and lets him pet her, and she's just turned out to be a complete love. And it's just been amazing. So this gift you have is incredible,
Oh,
and
thank you.
it's very real. So,
Well, you have the gift too.
well, I can kind of see into animals now, but I never knew it was even a thing. So
Well,
you
it can
talk to
develop.
insects, but do you
Mhm.
talk to wild animals too?
Oh, yes,
Give me an
definitely.
example. Give me an example of
Um,
some animal.
well, I talked to the deer, I talked to the squirrels, the rabbits, besides the birds. Any animal that I see, I talk to. So I give eye contact and I just send emotions with a paragraph of information to the animal, and they seem to receive it because their eyes soften and they look like they like me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a couple of mountain lions that have been in my
Ooh.
neighborhood lately. So when I confront them, do I run like hell, or do I turn around and go, "Hey, hi, I love you. Could you not eat me?"
Yeah, well, if I see a mountain lion or a bear or a big animal like that, I definitely move towards them. I don't move away, and I know it's not safe to do that. But I know that all animals want communication. That's my experience of it.
Really? Wow.
Hmm.
I'll consider that if I ever come face to face with those mountain lions. But wow. So, how have you developed your gift? Has it just been natural?
No, they keep developing, so they become stronger and stronger with time. So it's not just about experience, it's just about time itself. So the gifts, they do seem to keep unfolding because my communication with animals is improving.
Wow. Do you
Hmm.
think your near-death experience had any change in your gifts, or was that just something that happened?
Yeah, I think that my gifts became stronger because of it.
Hmm.
Hmm. Do
Mhm.
you want me to give you an example?
Please do.
Okay. So now when I look at pictures of animals, for example, just over time in the past, I wouldn't have so much information come to me, but now I have an abundant amount of information that comes to me.
Do you see the information? Do you feel it? Do you just know it? How does it come to you?
Okay, so it comes to me in all those ways. So oftentimes I have a movie play in my head about what happened with the animal or the message the animal wants to give me. I might see pictures, but the way that information's communicated is through like a paragraph of information that's combined with feelings and pictures.
Okay. Now, I do work as a medium, and I know you do as well. And for me, I see movies in my head, just like you explained. And that's what I saw when I touched that dog, and you happened to be touching him at the same time. It's like a movie plays, and yet it's a
Mm-hmm.
movie where I actually experience the emotion as well. And you're kind of describing that. Now, as
Mm-hmm.
a medium as well, when you are talking to, let's just say, dead people,
Mm-hmm.
do you feel it the same way, or
Yes,
is it
I
different?
do.
So it's the
No,
same.
it's the
Okay.
same, just that with people, it's a little bit, the information is a little bit more concrete. With animals, it feels more abstract, and they don't seem to have a need to give the information accurately. They just are being. Most of the time, they're just being.
Okay. Makes sense because they're animals or insects, and a little more difficult to communicate in that sense. So it's just more animalistic, I guess you could say.
It's a
Okay,
little bit more primitive and simple.
better way of saying it,
Hmm.
yes. So now you work as a counselor.
Hmm.
That's very worldly. You're trying to help people react with real world emotions, real world thinking. And so you go from that, and then you might have a client that needs to have help with their animal or needs to, maybe they're grieving and they want to connect with the other side. What's it
Hmm.
like then to live in that real world of counseling, say, and then switch into that spiritual world of mediumship? What's that like personally?
It's almost the same for me because when I'm having my client sessions, I'm using my intuition and my psychic abilities already in the session. And if I close my eyes while the client is talking, I'll have a movie play in my head, like a remote viewing, kind of similar to like what I see with animals. And so if I transition to a client that wants an animal psychic medium session, it's usually easier for me to look at pictures and for the person to have questions because it'll ground me.
Now, that's a counselor I would be interested in.
Oh,
That's a very good way of doing your work. That's good. What advice would you give to anyone wanting to improve or to start a journey of communicating with animals themselves?
so it's very simple, but it's difficult at the same time. Okay. It takes practice. So, what you practice doing is sending a paragraph of information, pictures, feelings, thoughts, all like it's in a cloud, and you send it over to the animal.
Should they touch the animal? Should they just focus on maybe looking at them? Do they think about them?
If it's an animal that's in their presence, yes, I would definitely be with them anyway, like petting them, giving them eye contact, but it's not necessary.
Okay. Now, you're also, again, a medium. So if you're trying to connect with someone on the other side, how do you connect in that way? Since it's a similar reception of information where you're seeing things and all of that, do you have advice for people trying to connect with someone on the other side since I have you here?
So when I connect to people who are asking me questions about somebody who's passed on, for example, what I do is I send a telepathy message that's like in paragraph form, just like I described, photos, feelings, thoughts, and I imagine sending it over to them, and they usually appear instantaneously for me. Now, if I'm trying to communicate with somebody who's passed on, what I do is I feel love in my heart for that person, and then I imagine sending that love to them.
That's wonderful. I'm going to drill down just a little bit on that
Okay.
because some people may not understand kind of all the steps that you go through because you're talking about love. And I think that that's the very beginning of it to be able to connect. When you want to connect into that wonderful universal connection, is there a way that you start? Do you need to kind of still yourself or slow down in any way, meditate? I mean, is it like a whole
No,
rigmarole or can
no, it's
people just start?
you can just start. It's not something complicated. You don't have to be in a state of presence. You don't need to meditate. You can literally do it anytime. It's a matter of whether or not you believe you can. Okay?
So it's a confidence of belief.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
do you really feel that anyone can do this?
No, I think some people who are really stuck in their head or people who don't believe in it can't do it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a matter of that belief.
I think so. It's so important to have that confidence while you're doing it.
Yeah. So can you tell me about an experience you had in talking with an animal that was unique or different or something maybe kind of fun?
Let's see. So it's always fun for me to communicate with animals, but when animals are sick, it's different, of course. But is it okay with you if I give you an example of when I talked to my vet's dog?
Oh, that would be great.
Okay. So his dog had cancer and he was in pain, and the veterinarian wanted to know if he was ready to pass on because he wanted to bring him comfort. And so he brought me to the back of the veterinary office and I saw his dog. And right away, I started talking with his dog, and his dog told me where the pain was. And I told the vet, And the vet said, yes, that's where the cancer is. And then he asked me to ask his dog if his dog was ready to pass on. His dog was alert and aware and wagging his tail, but he was in pain and he told me he was ready to pass on.
Mm.
And I told that to the vet, and it took him about a week to help him pass on. And he started crying.
I think that's one of the most difficult things when we love a pet so much, to
Hmm.
know when it's time and when it's best for them.
Hmm. Now,
Yeah,
when I think about happy memories with connecting with pets, it's usually with my dog or with dogs in general. I love dogs. Cats too. Oh, cats communicate more than dogs in my experience.
really. And yet, so
Hmm.
many people say, oh, cats are so aloof. When you call them, they don't come, they take a message. But
Yeah.
what does a cat typically have to say?
It's more like they talk to me like people do.
Really?
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Interesting.
I think they're extremely smart. I think they may even be as smart as people sometimes. We just don't know it.
Now, let's say you're out in your backyard and you're sitting there and you see birds and hummingbirds flying all over. What are birds like?
Birds are full of love and they love eye contact. They love being seen and noticed, and they love being said hello to. They are angels, in my opinion.
Really?
Hmm.
I know a lot of people find, and I've seen it often, that when you lose a loved one, they often come back or send signs through birds and butterflies, dragonflies, things that fly. And these
Hmm.
birds or whatever, they will come closer to you to show you that this is a sign from a loved one. Do you think that that's true? And have you seen any signs pointing that direction?
Uh, I can say that for myself it's been true, but I'm not really sure about other people. I think that people usually do see signs like that, and it's mostly with birds from my experience. Hmm.
But you tend to like birds because I know as a
Hmm.
child you said you
Yeah.
used to love talking to birds.
Yes. They literally, because of my near-death experience, birds to me are like angels. I call them angels.
Okay. Well,
Hmm.
they do have wings. Any particular bird that's maybe not as angelic as the others? I know a lot of people think that crows are kind of mean and nasty, and yet they're supposed to be extremely intelligent. So I don't know how I feel about crows.
Well, crows, they can be very harsh and they can be very selfish and they're very, very highly intelligent as well. But when I tune into them, usually it feels like they're a predator.
Okay, so I can still be mad at crows because I
Yeah,
usually
yeah,
say
you can be mad at them.
it. I know how important a pet is, and our caring for that animal is extremely important in the universe. That is our responsibility, and we need to love these animals. But I never really thought about the insects and the birds and such. And so, I typically, spray my yard to keep the insects away. And now I'm feeling guilty. So, how do we deal with that, guilt, whatever? I mean, you're saying, okay, you got a bunch of ants in the house, tell them to leave and all of that. But when we're sitting in the backyard and we're trying to talk to these insects, how should we be treating these things that are alive around us? How do you recommend that we deal with the critters in our world?
Well, I treat them like I would treat a person because after communicating with them on such an extensive basis, I would say that they should be treated just like another person. I know that sounds extreme, but after all these years of experience communicating with them and helping them and interacting with them, I feel the same type of respect for insects that I do for people and animals and plants. Plants, not so much. So, plants are like low on the list for me, but I even do telepathy with plants. And so I try not to step on plants. I try not to step on bugs, but of course it happens. And so there is guilt that comes with that for me, but I try not to be so hard on myself.
Yeah.
Because with helping insects, usually there are a couple that might die or I might accidentally step on one. And when I have like ants come into my home and I communicate with them and I tell them they need to leave, this is my territory, they can't be here anymore. Sometimes I have to spray the leader ant with water for the ant to tell the other ones to go away, but they
Hmm.
do listen. I've had so much experience with it and so much evidence that I believe that insects and animals should be given the same respect as people. But I know that's extreme. I know it sounds crazy.
Well, and having flatlined, I also know that death is not a horrible punishment. So, not that I'm going to go running around looking for bugs so I can smash them, but um, I I stepped out of the house the other day, taking the dog out, and stepped right on a snail and went. Of course, you know when you step on a snail because it,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
and I went, oh, oops, sorry.
Yeah, you see, if I do something like that, it's gonna sound extreme again, but it's traumatic for me.
Yeah, I didn't see it. It was dark. Didn't mean
Yeah.
to. But
Yeah.
it happens. But I have taken a little different attitude about things like that since I've known you. I will tell you that. And when I'm cutting my roses and I'm taking out weeds, of
Hmm.
course, I will tell you I'm probably the only one on the block that has a planter box full of dandelions.
Oh.
And dandelions are actually a beautiful plant. Everyone
Hmm.
else thinks of them as weeds, but
Hmm.
they are extremely healthy for you. And
Hmm.
yeah, from top to bottom, the leaves, the roots, yeah, dry them
Hmm.
out, put them in a tea, and they will keep you very healthy. So
Yes, I've heard that.
they're they're absolutely beautiful and wonderful for you, but I guess it's all in how you look at things, right?
Yeah, so there's something I just thought about. In my family, there are scientists that are specializing in insects, and so it is in my DNA already.
Well, that's your problem. I just think it's
Yeah.
wonderful that you were basically born with this ability. Some of us are, and some of us just aren't, and some of us develop it. I think we all have the ability to have gifts, but some of us have been just told and told and told and told that this is just stupid and silly and not true, that it's very difficult for us to turn that around and
Hmm.
believe it. I did an episode where I talked about the declassified Army and CIA documents about
Hmm.
how they've basically, flat out proven that this works. And it's just pretty interesting that I actually yesterday went into a store and was talking with the gentleman there who came out of the Army, and his best buddy from the Army was actually put through some training from the Army on this HemiSync, program to
Hmm.
train him to be intuitive. So even
Oh.
though they say, oh no, we're not doing that anymore, there's proof positive that they're still doing the training to get these guys to do remote viewing in the Army
Hmm.
so that they can find out what's going on in the world.
Yeah, so what you just mentioned, that's something that I do to practice. I use the gateway process, which was done by the CIA,
Yep.
and that helps with, they actually teach you how to do telepathy, and you can
Yes.
find these videos on YouTube for free.
Yes,
It's just,
exactly.
yeah, it's just under the gateway process, the gateway tapes.
The gateway process, exactly. And
Hmm.
they use hemisync, which basically it quiets down the left side of your brain, which is the one that's always nagging you. No, that's not right. No, that didn't happen. That's the logical side of your brain. And it lets the right side of your brain, the creative, I think that's the fun side,
Hmm.
the artistic side, it lets that one kind of take over a little bit and say, oh, that's possible.
Hmm.
And it just allows you to open your mind up to the possibilities, which is
Hmm.
exactly what you said. If people will open their mind up and say, it's possible that the world, the universe, is energy and interconnected and one with all of us, then anybody can connect in, communicate with animals and insects and people who've passed on because energy never dies.
Hmm.
So you're
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah.
And you just made me realize that I think it's easier to communicate with small animals before the bigger ones come about.
Why do you think so?
Just in my experience, maybe starting with insects. I don't know. If I were to really think about it, the messages that come across seem to be stronger.
Interesting. I am really going to
Yeah.
try that. I have never
Okay.
tried to communicate with an insect, or really a bird or anything. And I'm going to go out and try that. In fact, I'm going to do it today. I'm excited.
Okay. Okay.
Really
You could
excited.
ask them if they're hungry, and then you
Oh,
could bring them food, like an
interesting.
apple. Yeah, so if there are insects outside that I can see, I actually look them up and I find out what kind of food they eat, and then I buy them food.
Wow.
Or sometimes I have to find flowers, so I just buy them some flowers.
Okay.
But it's not something that anybody's going to really do. It's very unusual for a person to want to talk to insects. So you must be very unusual.
I am I'm totally a weirdo, and that's okay. People wouldn't necessarily have said that before my near-death experience, but afterwards, yeah. So that is totally fine with me. Call me what you want. Just make sure you don't call me late for dinner.
Yeah, so I recently made a bug house and I have it at the base of my stairs outside and I feed them apples and plants and flowers and seeds. And so far I have a lot of beetles. A
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. And
So
beetles have feelings too. So
yes.
wouldn't have said that before, but I'm saying that now. So, all right.
Yeah.
Any last words? Any advice to anyone? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, if a person really wanted to practice with this, they could literally just go to the pet store and just look at the animals that are there and communicate with them that way if they wanted to try it. Usually animals have strong messages at pet stores.
I bet, especially the
Hmm.
rescues. I have volunteered, sometimes I still do, at a cattery for rescued cats.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I have had some really good success just communicating with them and letting them know you're going to be okay. We're going to find you a great home. You will be loved. You just have to
Yes.
stay calm and everything is going to be all right. And they do calm down. It's been really, really helpful. So maybe if
Mm.
people go to some of these rescue places or the pound even and
Mm-hmm.
just calm these animals down by communicating with them, I think it would
Mm-hmm.
really help the animals.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
agree. You're giving me a really good idea. I think I'm going to try that.
yeah, because there's so many animals needing homes.
I
And
know. Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had one little, well, big cat. It was kind of a big cat. They came in and he was so sad. And I communicated with him the way that you showed me and found out that his owner had passed. They didn't know why he had been turned in. And I communicated, found out he had an elderly gentleman that was his
Mm-hmm.
owner that he loved, used to sit on his lap on the recliner every day and just be petted. And he loved his owner. And
Mm-hmm.
owner passed away, and the family came in and just gave him up, gave him to a rescue. Didn't want
Mm-hmm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he didn't even realize necessarily what had happened exactly. He just knew that all of a sudden his owner was gone, and these people came in. And when I explained, because I could sense the owner being a
Mm-hmm.
medium, and so I explained to him, your owner has passed. It's not that he left you. He's gone. And once he understood that, and I said, but we'll find you a new owner. And then when he got adopted, I was luckily there the day that he got adopted. And
Wonderful.
I was able to explain to the family that adopted him that his owner had passed and he was mourning and that he was
Mm.
sad and he just wanted someone to let him sit on his lap and pet him. And the family it was a couple, actually an older couple, and they were so excited to have a cat that would just want to be loved. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if we can just talk to the animals, just tell them from our mind to their mind, that we love them and we care about them. I think it would go
Mm-hmm.
a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And ask them what they need.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Sometimes just sending them love is a really good way to practice telepathy as well.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Christina, it has been wonderful having you on. I could talk to you all day, but I know you don't have all day to talk to me. Maybe we'll bring you back and talk to you about other things another time, but this has been great. And I think it's been very, very eye-opening, certainly, and very helpful for my listeners. So thank you so much for coming in. Really,
Oh, my pleasure.
thank you, thank you, thank you. If people wanted to reach you, would that be okay if I gave out what would I do? Your website?
Yes, that's fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Her website is duffychristina.com. So that's Duffy, Christina, Christina.com. And she would be a wonderful person as a counselor, especially a couples counselor if you needed that. And also, if you wanted to talk to her about your pets, because she certainly has helped me with mine. She would be the perfect person for you. So, again, thank you. Really appreciate you coming in. Thanks so much.
Oh, thank you so much, Kat.